60 Minutes with Angela starts right now.
I have been a part of Ekiti's political space for the past 15 years, not as a passive person, an active player. And I say this under authority and God, that the pressure that I've been under in the past 8 months has been incomparable to any other pressure. Am I an unwilling candidate? Not in the sense that I don't care about my state. Yes. I care about what the legacy of Niyi Adebayo Otunba. I care about the legacy of Kayode Fayemi. I care about what Asiwaju Segun Onini has done. And then we need to get that state back. This is not who we are. I didn't grow up to know that my state will queue up to collect 2 kg of rice and one sickly looking chicken and 200 naira. That's not my state. That's not Ekiti. That's not who we are.
Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajitumobi. Thank you for joining me on the program today. My host today is a former Director General of the campaign organization of the former Governor of Ekiti State, now Minister for Solid Mineral Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. That election in 2014, where Dr. Fayemi was seeking a re-election, my host was his Director General at the time, a former member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, representing Ekiti North Federal Constituency, while he was a member of the 7th House of Representatives here in Nigeria. He was the Vice Chairman of the Committee on Millennium Development Goals, MDGs. He was also a member of 4 critical committees, that of the Army, Banking and Currency, Civil Society and Donor Agencies, and the Diaspora Committee. And he has a new baby. He's working on a new project. We're talking about that and, of course, Ekiti politics. So, join me after the break as I count down 60 minutes with Representative Bimbo Daramola, a former member of Nigeria's House of Representatives. Welcome back. Welcome, Representative Daramola. Thank you very much for coming back on the program.
Thank you very much, Angie. It feels good to be back.
Under different circumstances.
2 years later.
Yes, 2 years on. All right, I wanted us to start with this new project you're driving. I called it your baby in my introduction.
Yeah.
The Nigerian Students and Youth Corps Discount Card, also known as the Nigeria Green Card. What is the rationale behind this card?
This is actually one of the offshoots of what I stayed in the parliament to do for the past 4 years. Over the past 4 years that I served my time out there. If you go to Ekiti today, you find out that one of the things that people say about me is that I'm very strong with the youth population. And that didn't come for nothing. It's a product of systemic hard work at demonstrating clearly that I care for them. And they can see through me. When I was in the parliament, I did a lot of work, humbly speaking, in terms of youth empowerment, funding their education, keeping them focused on school and all of that. But beyond all of that, there's the generic essence of the fact that I am mindful of the successor generation. And I hope we don't get to a situation where we will raise a successor generation that is very delusional.
Delusional in what sense?
Absolutely. As in disoriented, they have hate characteristics, they feel that nobody cares about them and all of that. How do I mean? Again, this is destiny aforetold. I knew Nigeria was going to grind to a halt if we were not careful. And I screamed myself hoarse when I was in Parliament trying to say that. Everything you heard about these revelations by the government of General Buhari and all of that, I saw it coming. I knew we were grinding in bits. I may not have a full picture, all the
figures and
absolutely,
facts, yes.
But I knew we couldn't sustain all of those things. That it was too much of malfeasance going on, and I knew that the chickens were going to come to roost. So, but I think it came too soon that we expected it. And this is the thing. Number one, today you will discover that the guys who feel the brunt of every
policy,
yes, whether the policy works or it doesn't work, whether the system works or it doesn't work, the guys who are the short end of the stick, who are the receiving hand, they are these young people. And then this demography unfortunately can't help themselves. They don't have income stream. What keeps them on campus or when they go on youth service is the margin of money or resources available to their parents or sponsors. And that is shrinking by the day. When that's not shrinking as a result of unemployment, their parents and sponsors are losing their jobs. 27 state governments can't pay salaries. Okay, I'll give you a very quick example. This is a reality check. In all of those states where they've not been able to pay salaries for 5-6 months, what happens to the kids of those people who are in the university? Has anybody given a thought to that?
Left to their own devices.
And then the guys who are going on youth service, they get 19,450 naira. How much can
every month?
Yes. When I do youth service, I took 250 naira. And I remember I was talking to these guys in Abuja orientation camp, and I said to them, 27 years ago, I was in a hall like this in Kaduna, and somebody was talking to me about a number of stuff, and I said, at that time we're collecting 250 naira. Today you guys collecting 19,000, and then they screamed. It wouldn't buy as much as your 250.
You could buy with your 250 back then.
What does that tell you? Things are beginning to hit home. Inflation, I'm told, is rising, and then we're getting closer to recession, like it or not.
Yes. 2
quarters back to back, posting negative growth, negative 13%. They said, the economic said, that is a signal that anytime we find 2 quarters of the quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, back to back like that, going to negative growth, that is recession knocking at your door. So I began to ask myself, there must be something that we needed to do, and do it quickly too, as a social protection plan to redeem these guys from deviant opportunities.
Yes.
You know, it reminds me of that place in the Bible where Jesus cleaned a man of unclean spirits. And you know what he said? You better make sure that you fill that place.
Yes.
If you're not careful, these guys are going to come back 7 times worse. So I said to myself, we better snatch this successor generation from harm's way, or their minds are very impressionable, in an attempt to deal with the realities of no breakfast, no lunch, no dinner. That's 000. That's the worst case scenario. Sometimes they do 001. That is no breakfast, no lunch, only dinner. Sometimes they do breakfast. And
then what is the quality of the dinner they are having or the meal?
You see, it's even good that you have dinner at all. The quality is secondary in this circumstance. So I looked at all of that, and it posted a very bad spectacle. And unfortunately, there's no safety net to take care of these people, estimated to be about 30 million people. And I looked at what other countries are doing, and I couldn't find anything else like what we're trying to birth in this country today. It exists in Malaysia. When this same scheme was launched in Malaysia, it was the deputy prime minister that launched it there. That gave a stronger conviction to me that for the deputy prime minister of Malaysia to go out to launch a discount card for tertiary students and the youth in Malaysia, it must be something that has a value. In Ghana next door, it's there. In Kenya, it's there. In the United States, it's called Student Advantage Card. In London, it runs under NUS platform, and we don't have anything like that. Imagine if you had been able to save a little bit as you spend when you were in school. Would you be more comfortable? Fine. So we looked at this very gory picture, and we said that it's about time to introduce a Nigerian students and youth called discount card. Why did we segment this catchment? Divide?
I mean, because you've only students and youth corpers will benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Why?
We did that because, one, they are identified. You can track them. Because a lot of people are doing this. Some of our corporate partners, when we started out, we grew it from 100, we started from 0. And today we're hitting 1,815 partners. My relationship managers are doing terrific.
When you say partners, those are the outlets where the
merchants
students
and outlets where they ordinarily go to. I'll give you an example. A UCOM member who is going to Kaduna now. I've never been there before, no parents, no family, nobody there. And then you're going to throw him into the far-flung city of Kashia, for instance. Who looks out for him? Nobody.
Yeah.
And then they pay the same amount of money that you and I pay. So I could have shrugged it away and I said, listen, I'm not gravely concerned. Anyway,
Yes.
it's not my business.
They will cope.
And they will cope. They will navigate somehow. I could have said that. We have decided, and it's also a reflection of the fact that my heart beats for these young people. When I built up, by the grace of God, a 32-bed hospital for my constituents, that's one of the things fueling some of the things
And
I
we're
do.
going to talk about
Right.
that as well
So,
later.
if a UCOM member is flying to Kaduna today or flying to Abuja today on this platform,
Yes.
he's going to pay 4,000 naira less.
On the tickets.
Absolutely. If you're going to see a movie at Silverboard, you're going to pay 500 naira less.
Okay, that's what the card does.
All kinds of discounts from 5 to 50%.
What is in it then for the retailer? Because, if a retailer is offering discounts,
Yes.
how do they recoup?
Well, two things. One, would it be better as a business owner to have 100 people know about what you're trading, what you're selling, than 10 people? The more the people get to know about your business, the more the opportunity of converting them to customers before they develop brand loyalty. That's
Right.
number one.
Right.
Number two, would you rather make 10 naira from 10 people or make 8 naira from 30 people? If you make 10 naira from 10 people, you get a profit of 100 naira.
Yes.
If you make 8 naira from 30 people, you get a profit of 240 naira. So your inventory goes down.
So at least let the market move.
Absolutely. And then you see, there's something they say in Yoruba, Toro Toya, Oda City to pay. A penny that you could easily turn around
Yes.
is better than a kobo that stays there for too long and forever.
Then
Nobody
you're
wants to come to
waiting.
a shop and then you look at your inventory every day, all the shoes you're selling, your food and everything is there, and nobody's asking what you're doing here. Don't forget that competition is still very safe.
Yes.
And of course, you must devise ingenious strategies as business owner to ensure that recession does not lead you to closing shop. So this is one of the opportunities that we offer the corporate partners, and also it's a win-win scenario for everybody. The students are happier, they're taken away from harm's way, they're taken away from deviant opportunities.
And of course, for the retailer, when the youth corps season is over, youth corps lasts for a year. For those who don't know about the National Youth Service Corps here in Nigeria, it lasts for a year. So what happens? You take the card off me. Can't I run away with the card?
Well, you can use your if you're taking your card now.
Yes.
It's an annual card and you have to renew it.
Okay.
If you don't renew it, when it expires, that's the end of it.
You won't be able to use
You
it.
can't use it anymore because it's going to time out.
Okay, so this is how it works.
Yeah.
I will go into the retailer, and will they swipe it?
Well, that's the next level, which is we're gonna get in 1 month.
Okay.
But for now, it basically recognizes you as a walk-in customer.
Right.
And then for online transactions, in another 1 month, we will conclude who does the midway, the intermediary role that's supposed to be done by a financial institution like a bank.
Yes.
And we're talking to a few of them. So another 1 month, I know we'll be there, and then they can use the platform for online transactions. But for now, 1,815 partners, merchants, offering all kinds from, guess what? And this is the one that is very dear to my heart. Do you know a whole lot of people cannot afford Medicare? This platform offers you several hospitals, dental, and all manner of healthcare.
Yes.
Some are giving 30% off consultation, and some are giving 30% off surgery. You won't get that anywhere.
With this card?
Absolutely. If you don't have a card like this or a steel system like this, where are they going to get money to fund their basic needs? It's not the elitist product. If you check our Instagram page, you find a woman who roasts fish around Mami Market in Abuja Market.
Yes.
You find Mama Lamala there on that platform. To everybody and every classification, you find already embraced in this card.
How do you determine the students? With the youth corps, it's kind of pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
With the students, must you be in your final year?
No, you don't have to. This card is accessible to postgraduate students
yes.
and doctorate students. All you need to do is to show that you are a student. You probably have to get a certification from your Dean of Student Affairs. And
Okay.
once you get that, you're good to go.
If I'm in first year
Yes.
in university and I get the card,
Yeah.
it will be renewable every year until I
Absolutely.
finish.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to youth corps.
Yeah.
I will renew again as a youth corper,
Absolutely.
and then decide for masters, renew again.
Absolutely, exactly.
What is in it for you?
Satisfaction that I have the opportunity to make an impact. Everything is not money. This is the longest route to making money. We've seen it all over the place.
Yes.
With the level that I am, by the grace of God, I have this little contact that I could turn around.
Yes.
And I don't have to go chasing anybody for 1,000 naira discount card. But I care about people who may never come across me, who may never meet me. And then this card makes a lot of impact in their lives.
Yes.
You know what they say about American Express card? Never leave home without it.
Yes.
This is one card that will change. It's a social revolution in the positive sense. Because there are a number of people, over 1,000 people using these cards today. Some of them I've never met. I went to where I barb my hair in Abuja. It's called Luxo. And they're already on that platform anyway.
Yes.
And so I was upstairs. A UCOM member came in and said to me, and they had the haircut and all the personal grooming and all of that. The owner of the place saw the girl and came up to me and said, "Is one of your people here?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Oh, one of the core members is here." And I said, "Has she used that card?" She said, "I don't think she knows." So I said, "Send her upstairs, let me talk to her for a second." And then when she came, I said, "Did you come in here to use your discount card?" She said, "What's that?" You know the way this guy said, twinny, pussy, and all of that. And I said, "Listen, how much did you pay for your haircut and the personal grooming you've done today?" And she said to me, 5,000 naira. I said, "You only just got to the ripped out of 2,000 naira. You could have paid 3,000 naira for all of the things you've done." And I said to her, "How many times have you been here this year?" She said she's been there like 20 times. I said, "You just lost 40,000 naira." And then she freaked out. 40,000 naira is a lot of money.
It is. For a student or a
student, even 1,000 is a lot of money. And then it also deepens the savings culture.
Yes.
That's number one. And then number two, there's also a platform there, a facility that ensures this is not in pursuit of consumerism alone. It also takes care of pursuit of scholarship. Because there's academic village on our website where a student from Abraka, for instance, who study metallurgy, metaphysics, whatever it is, and then does not know that there's a lecturer in Sokoto or ATB Ubauchi, and that guy is a professor of metallurgy. Why would you limit this guy to Abraka and not allow him to also benefit from the depth of intelligence and the paperwork that guy has done? So on that platform, if you're on Nigeria Green Card platform, you're good to go. We can rig you up with that lecturer, and then you can share his papers.
It's a networking social site as well. So your interactive session you had with the cross-section of Nigerian students with the speaker, right, Honorable Dogara, present, that was in March 2016. What was the reaction? How was the news of this card received?
When you start out on a journey, sometimes you don't know the twists and turns, you don't know where it takes you eventually. We started about September last year, putting all the frameworks, met with NAS. We needed to build a critical mass of acceptance from the stakeholders. We did all of that. And then we met with NAS, we met with the minister, we met with NYC, we met with all of these stakeholders. And by the time we began to break it down, and they could connect with the reality of the fact that this is common sense revolution, like Ashwaju was saying. You won't understand. They are excessive. Excuse me, you go on Facebook today, you go on all platforms, our phones are ringing on hand. People asking questions, critical questions. And out of 10 questions, 8 questions go like, where do we get this card? We have not seen it here. We have not seen it there. And all of that. So I believe that this is one social protection plan like no other. I dare anybody to point in the direction of any other platform that takes away this critical part, this vulnerable, highly impressionable demography. That takes care of them in the sense that this will do. For instance, I'm told that 5,000 will be given to unemployed people, and I don't have problems with that. But I expect that we will be able to identify these 5,000, these people who take 5,000 naira. And then where's the ultimate destination of this 5,000 naira? It's not regenerating. But then you give me if I give you 5,000 and I put a card on it, you can stretch the lifespan of that 5,000 naira. You can eat safer and cleaner.
It goes a longer way.
Name it. So they know it, they have embraced it, and all of that. And then that's why a lot of people now wants to do this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to define talking about them. But the truth of the matter is that this is the premier discount card. This is nothing like this as we speak today. You can, the way people are downloading the mobile apps on iOS, on Android, they're visiting the website, they're liking the page, and all of that. That's the ultimate satisfaction that I want. If anybody is waiting for bottom line on this one, you're going to wait forever.
Join us again after the break.
Nice question.
Angela, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
That is a serious question.
Angela, that is a very great question.
Great question, Angela.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Angela, that's a tough one for me.
That's a good question. Good question.
I love to ask questions. I think it's what I do best. You see, I think that the fastest way to learn anything is to ask questions. The right questions, that is. Questions that help you get to the heart of the matter.
60 Minutes with Angela. Gain answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetomobi. On my hot seat today, Bimbo Daramola, a former representative and initiator of what he calls the Niger Green Card, a discount card for students and youth corpers here in Nigeria. So how will they get it?
Number one, if you're a student and you can validate your claims as a student, you go to Dean of Student Affairs. That's where you authenticate it. You can get us to sign you up from there. That's number one. Number two, as a core member, you can do it from an orientation camp just about the time you're starting youth service. And then you can get onto your CDS thereafter, and when you're serving, you can call, you can do all of that. Number three, the Niger Green Card office is also open, and then you can shoot us an email. We're just a phone call away, really, and then we can sign you up effortlessly. And then in turnaround time, quick turnaround time, your card is available and you're good to go.
Before the card is available, do I get a number? I mean, like a BVN number or something?
No, you don't need a BVN number. But then
don't.
the card, when it's issued, has a control number that cannot be faked.
All right.
Yeah.
How long does it take for that card to be issued?
It takes it depends on your destination. So again, this is one of the things, you get the cards home and then you send it to them and all of that. So, but we're bearing all of this in the hope and sense that in another 2 years, no Nigerian between the ages of 18 and 35 will patronize any shop where the sticker of Nigeria Green Card is not there.
To benefit from discounts.
Because,
it makes sense.
Logical sense. Parents are going to compel their children to, because, Angie, you need to know the way things are. I have core members who serve in my office. And I know that when it's Friday, they go like, okay, good night, sir. Oh, good night, sir. And then when your staff says good night, sir, to you 3 times.
Yes, without moving.
You better know that you know something to say, okay, have a nice weekend.
Yes.
And there's a way to do that. You have to connect the dots. It's not about me, but I care about how relief could come to these people. And I'm told, I've not found this out, I've not really searched it, that in some states in India, it's compulsory to have a student discount card.
Will they do biometrics?
No, we don't.
None of that.
No bios.
Is the card free? The application, is it free?
The application is free on iOS, on Android is free, but it costs a little bit of money to keep the relationship managers on the field, counting the streets. To get 1,815 partners is not easy.
Yes, and counting, still counting.
And it's still counting, you know. So in another 6 months, I know we'll be hitting, with the hardworking team that I have, I'm too sure we'll be hitting like 3,000. And I don't know what you want to buy in this, what you won't ever need that you won't find inside corporate partners. There's nothing you need.
What is the cost?
It costs about 1,000 naira.
1,000 flat.
Absolutely.
There will be no commissions. If you have agents now, say something on top.
No commissions.
No commissions.
So. Because again, this is not driven by business instincts.
Okay.
No.
Do you actually have the card now?
We do have the cards. The cards are not pre-made. They're made as
you apply.
Yes, you apply.
Yes.
Because it's got a photo and all of those things. So we don't have the card in the sense in which you have it sitting down there.
Yes.
But the card is available and we can take the traffic as they come.
Just tell us a little bit about some of the outlets that accept the card.
It's emotional for me. Just like you said, this is one baby that I really would like to nurture. We're taking baby steps right now. It's like a plane just taking off and done with that. And then we're trying to steady the steps of this baby. We have partners like Saverboard. You can see a movie for almost...
and these are the things important to
students,
I guess.
You can eat good food at Marco Polo is expensive. It's high up there. We may want to give a treat to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you want to go to. And then there's Lamala, Pebi, and regular shops are there. Chisco is there for transportation. It takes 10% off your travel.
How will you identify this retailer? Is there a sign?
Have accepted here sticker.
Okay.
They are posted. Otherwise, you can check from your app, you can check from your website, and then when you get there, they already know that the discount card is accepted there.
So for those who are interested in this card, the website is nigergreencard.com.ng. That's nigergreencard.com.ng. You can also go through nsyc.com.ng. That's nsyc.com.ng. So how do you guard against misuse? I'm thinking of people who have finished youth corps. They're not going to graduate school because you've said graduates would also be able to use it. How do you guard against misuse by people who no longer qualify under those conditions but retain the card?
Well, the card has a tenure of 1 year. So logic says is that the card will serve its term out. Once you're done with your term period, you never can guard against somebody who takes a card 3 months to the end of your service.
Yes.
You understand? You're not going to say, okay, fine, we will just rate you for 3 months. So most likely it's going to run out all the way to the end. I don't think that hurts. Somebody who's just coming out of school couldn't have stepped into luxury and comfort immediately. So again, that helps them, to prepare. Either you're a youth corps member or you're a student and you're coming out of school or you're coming out of youth service. Either way, for the first 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5, 6 months, you still need that support structure to again calm you down. And then you could have saved some money. Every shopping you do, whenever you're going to pay the full money, take the differential, go and keep.
And save it and see what you have
Absolutely.
at the end of the month.
Again, you also have people we have partners who are doing personal loans, entrepreneurial training, and all of that. It's not about buying wigs and shoes and bags and all of that. I told you about the scholarship aspect of it. It's also got to do with personal training, support structure for loans, and all of
real
that.
services.
And even insurance. So if you want to do short travels, there are insurance firms who are willing to also insure you for a little premium.
And some retailers will be watching us now. How can they get on the program? If I have a business and I would like to participate, I would like to accept the card in my shop or my business. What do I do?
Well, what you need to do is to also get to that website. www.nigergreencard.com.ng or www.nsyc.com.ng or download the apps, at Niger Green Card, you get the apps, you can download, go to Play Store, you download it. And then you can call our numbers 080-541-33338. All of those we will be willing to. And of course, partners don't pay on that.
Okay, I was getting there.
At least at this time.
So, if you want to do it free, you better rush now.
Right now. If you want to get on board today, you better get on board today. I guarantee you don't have anything to lose. The students don't have anything to lose. The corps members don't have anything to lose. The partners don't have anything. It's a win-win-win situation for everybody. And for us, we derive the satisfaction that we've done some good work and promoting a good cause.
And of course, I can't have you here without talking about politics. Especially Ekiti politics.
Okay.
You were the DG, the Director General. I introduced you as the former Director General of the campaign of Dr. Fayemi in 2014 when he was seeking a second term. And I've always wanted to ask you, yes, do you agree that the APC was unprepared for that onslaught or that you did not anticipate all those things you all complained of, the use of federal might, for instance, in that election?
This is the very first time I'm going to start talking about, I had wanted to wait 2 years before I start talking about Ekiti and then the roadmap towards recovery and all of that. But again, destiny I foretold. When I came on your program, I told you the basis why we would be the preferred candidate to win that election. And I was convinced about it. I'm still rock solid sure about it that election didn't go that way. And it's proved for us now. Okay, that election, we knew it. We saw it coming. We knew, but then we felt that the people's power will be able to stem the tide of the federal power that you talked about. President Jonathan needed that election to bolster and shore up his fortune and his base in the southwest. He needed a foothold to secure the attention, a landing pad to be able to reach out to all the southwest.
And it seemed that some people say because it was his first governorship election as president, he needed to win that.
Not only that, when the SEALs from the US Marines were going to attack Afghanistan, they needed a Pakistan as a landing pad. You don't go all out like that. So President Jonathan and his strategists, I guess, needed a landing pad, they needed an inroad. They couldn't go into Oshun, they couldn't go to Ekiti and all of those places. And then this election provided that landing pad and they went all out for it. A whole lot of telltales had began to show up in the run-up to that election. and we screamed blue mother. But for some reason, well, I hope I will have a time again, to come here and talk about that election and what went down. But the truth of the matter remains the fact that, like I said to you, the kind of revelations coming out that you heard about the Ekiti Gate,
Yes.
where they said they should go take me out and all of that. You heard about that. You heard about Aluko and all.
I interviewed Temi Talk.
You heard all the things, even though he didn't recount the details of it. He couldn't have been able to recount the generics of it.
Yeah.
He may take back a little bit of it, but then the message is out there, the jury is out there. Yeah. The truth of the matter remains the fact that if you had won an election under that circumstance, would you truly be able to hold your hand to the victory and put it up there and say you actually won? You don't win an election like that. 3.7 billion naira went into one man's pocket to ensure that election is won or was won. 14 Hilux trucks came to my house. And you heard the story about how my father was beaten black and blue?
Yes.
As I speak with you now, I have a sleep disc between my L3 and L4.
Till today.
As I sit here. My doctors in America and all of that, so just told me you have to just manage it. And that's the way it is. That's L3, that's L4. The cartilage is right in between there to cushion these two bones. And then when I tried to escape and made good my escape, and I jumped into a ditch. I landed all of my weight on my feet, and then that slipped my disc, and then it shot out like that. And as I speak to it, my nerves are getting touched and all of that. So it's an emotional election for me. But guess what? There's going to be payback time.
And I'm happy you use those words.
There's going to be payback
Are you the choice of the party? Are you interested in that election? I mean, people say, who else should be interested in that election? As a former DG, foot soldier, on the ground in 2014.
Angela, you want me to tell you the truth?
Yes.
When I lost the election on the 11th of April, I guess, when I lost my own election, not the Prime Minister's election, a year later, when I lost that election, the Prime Minister's loss was my loss. I represented that campaign. I gave everything, all of my heart to that campaign.
You did.
Nothing I didn't do to ensure that we got a victory. But unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. And then, of course, Hurricane Peter also took everybody out. And you know the properties of hurricanes. Hurricanes leave terrible tales behind it.
Yes.
And we're saying it today. So, am I the choice? Am I going to run? My first thing was that when we lost that election, the first thing I said to myself is that, is it really worth the trouble? And I made up my mind that even councillor, I'm not going to aspire again. I said to myself, and I mean it. And I needed to also let them know too well that, like General Basanjo told me and a couple of other people, that every politician must have a second address. I have a second address. I have not lived on politics.
You're not depending on that.
I'm not depending on politics.
Yeah.
Even as I speak today, the deputy speaker is, I'm running his office as his chief of staff, but that's not the point. The point is that I could hold my own in town against anything. I don't need to live on politics. If I needed to live on politics, I wouldn't service the people the way I did. So, but all of a sudden, there are a number of people who are eminently qualified to aspire to lead Ekiti State. But again, we would need to also do a little bit of profiling to know who is what does who represent, what's the background, where are you coming from, and all of that.
Has any one of them told you they're interested? I interviewed Right Honorable Femi Bamshile. He has come out categorically to say.
Now, let me tell you, Femi Bamshile, former speaker, Right Honorable, my very good friend and brother, when he said to me, I don't want to talk too much, but I'm going to talk again. He met me 3 times. And he asked me pointedly, Bimbo, do you want to run? And I said to him, no, 3 times. And I meant it.
And he said so to me, because I asked him.
I meant it. And I said, no. He met me 3 times. And I supported his campaigns. However, anyway, things began.
Are you changing your mind?
No. Things began. Some other person said from Australia.
Yes.
Called me sometime in November. I was coming from Ekiti. I was coming to Lagos. And he called me and he said, oh, Bimbo, do you want to run? And I said, I'm not interested.
Yes.
Well, his name is Olulu. I said, I'm not really interested. And he asked me that he's thinking, and I said, listen, I know the sentiment in Ekiti today.
Yes.
As I speak with you right now, I am 1 vote at the primaries. But I'm not going to give it to you. You were my senior in high school, good guy, medical doctor, brilliant, but I'm not going to give that vote to you because you've been too far gone away from these people. You can't heal that in 6 months.
Yes.
I'm not going to have to back you.
You have to be on the ground.
You have to be on the ground.
Yes.
I have been a part of Ekiti's political space for the past 15 years, not as a passive person, an active player. And I say this under authority and God, that the pressure that I've been under in the past 8 months has been incomparable to any other pressure. Am I an unwilling candidate? Not in the sense that I don't care about my state.
Yes.
I care about what the legacy of Niyi Adebayo Otunba. I care about the legacy of Kayode Fayemi. I care about what Asiwaju Segun has done. And then we need to get that state back. This is not who we are. I didn't grow up to know that my state will queue up to collect 2 kg of rice and one sickly looking chicken and 200 naira. That's not my state. That's not Ekiti. That's not who we are.
But the people seem to be happy on the
That's
queue.
not taking advantage of those people.
They seem to be happy on the queue.
You see, I did geology in school. There's gold and there's charcoal pyrite. And charcoal pyrite in street lingo means fool's gold. It's not everything that glitters as gold. Okay, if you care about them so much, give them education. I don't know, didn't line people on the streets of Ekiti, of Ondo, and all those places in the southwest to give them chickens and to give them rice and all of that to be popular. He entrenched themselves and deepened his contact with those people on the basis of the fact that he could change their lives using the tool of education. When you take a piece of chicken today and you take 2 kg of rice today, it's not going to run you up to wait until 2 weeks. Give them education. Truly empower them. And you see, you don't tell me that that's who we are. That's not. Listen, Haji, I'm not a young man. I have this grain to show for it.
Yes.
So I know who we are. That's not who we are. Let anybody go to town and say whatever they want to say.
Join us again after the break.
Nice question.
Angela, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
That is a serious question.
Angela, that is a very great question.
Great question, Angela.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Angela, that's a tough one for me.
That's a good question. Good question.
I love to ask questions. I think it's what I do best. You see, I think that the fastest way to learn anything is to ask questions. The right questions, that is. Questions that help you get to the heart of the matter.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Welcome back. My concluding moments now with Bimbo Daramola, former member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, representing Ekiti North Federal Constituency. You said you have only one vote
Yes,
as a delegate.
Yes.
Who will you give it to?
I'll give it to myself because I'm worthy of that vote. It also reassures the people that I believe in the fact that I have capacity. By the grace of God, humbly speaking, after my consultations, by the grace of God,
Yes.
I'm going to have to talk to our leaders, talk to Asiwaju, talk to everybody who needs to know, and then we'll analyze it. Is Bimbo truly suitable? What has he done before? Who is he? How consistent has he been? Has he been a party man, faithful through and through? What has he done when he had the opportunity? Some people in the Bible said, because you have been faithful in a small thing, we will entrust you with greater responsibilities. Can they say that of Bimbo Daramola? What's my track record? When you mention Bimbo, what comes to your mind? These are the questions that will be answered as we decide to think of who flags the banner of our party at that election.
Have you thought of people that may want to contest? Dr. Segun Oni, for instance, is still entitled to a second term. Some would even argue legally that he is entitled to a first term. Dr. Kayode Fayemi, do you know if he wants to go in as well?
I don't know who will be the governor of Ekiti in 2018. God knows.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, Bimbo Daramola being alive, I have a vote at that primaries. That's number one. Number two, let me say it here and now. I have not spoken about politics in 2 years. But because I respect you and this program, I say to you, if Dr. Kayode Fayemi is going to run at that election,
Yes.
I, Bimbo Daramola, will not run. On my honor, I won't run. Honestly, would not. I won't run against Dr. Fayemi at that election.
Mr. Bamishile says he will run and they should meet on the field.
If Bafem,
Yes,
if my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, wants to run against Fayemi, good luck. If Dr. Fayemi is running, I'm going to give my votes to him. A woman was caught in adultery. All our adversaries came, and they were going to stone her to death. And Jesus said, hey, before you cast the first stone, Mr. Ojo, you did this yesterday. You did this, you did this. And then by the time he told them and he showed them the picture of their own lives, they began to drop the stones and walked away. And when they were gone, he said to that woman, woman, where are thou your adversaries? Dr. Fayemi may have all of his faults, warts and all, like me, like Angela, like Bafem, like everybody. But then, I understand too well that I need to look beyond this king. Dr. Fayemi cares about Ekiti, and we've seen it. Listen, a lot of people, when there was so much of hoopla about Dr. Fayemi when he lost the elections. Oh, he's not in touch, he's not popular, and all of that. And today we know the difference. 25,000 senior citizens who were 5,000 naira, where is it today? 10,000 volunteers on 10,000 naira, where is it today? The roads, the schools, and all of that.
But
So,
the current administration will say that there is a dip in revenue.
oh my goodness. Listen, we can crunch the maths. We can do the figures ourselves. And at the appropriate time, if by the grace of God, because again, God rules in the affairs of men.
Yes.
If by the grace of God, at the wisdom of our party and our party faithfuls, they feel that Bimbo Daramola is the one to run that election, I'm going to tell you a few things that Nigerians would like to know. I will tell them.
Do you agree that Governor Fayose is the man to beat in that election, though?
He wasn't the man to beat at that election. It was an election against the system. Oh God. Where would Dr. Fayemi get 3.7 billion to process? Even as a sitting governor. Where will he get the whole of these forces that couldn't go to Sambisa?
You know what someone said to me?
Tell me.
If indeed that election was rigged in favor of Governor Fayose, why is it that when the results were announced, Ekiti people trooped out on the streets and were jubilating?
Let me tell you something. A lot of people, listen, I need to let you know that there are final details of that election that I know. Number one, a lot of people are demarketed horse in the sense that, oh, they just wanted something. Number two, so much of money was going around. Number three, why did they have to pull people? It's like, listen, you go to a field of play and you're playing Nigeria in the days of Okocha, you take out Okocha, you take out Late Keshi, you take out all of these good players, and you expect that you're going to win the election or win the football match. It's not going to happen. Now, when that went down, if you were in Ekiti, I was there was so much of quiet. It was the quietness of the graveyard. Ask anybody.
Mr. Fayemi called me.
Yes, it was the quietness. Everything was still. It was like, what eat us? By the time I left my village and I drove into Ado Ekiti, the state capital, heading out to the government house, it was like somebody died. I swear to Almighty God. Let Governor Fayose come and tell us that it's not true. It took another day for people to appropriate his victory so that they can begin to position themselves. Oh yeah, we made it happen. Has he not told them that they didn't vote for him? Has he not demonstrated it now? But I don't want to talk about Dr. Fayose. He said that I said so many things that he didn't like and all of that. But it's okay. But 1 year is gone now. And I pray that he will have long life. And I will have long life. And then we'll get to meet again and talk about it.
We get to meet it. Okay, so what next for you politically? You are not saying categorically whether you will go for governorship or you will not. Perhaps you are considering the Senate, I don't know. People are saying you have been penciled down to be the next governor of Ekiti State.
Let me use this medium to thank everybody who has said some kind things. I know people are saying, a few people have said some bad stuff about me. That's okay. You know, when you take your bath in the open place, everybody knows the conclusion of things. Now, am I going to run against the pressure that I have seen and the genuineness of the pressure? The guys who spoke to me said to me, Bimbo, we'll do this scenario, we'll do that scenario, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I sat back and I told a friend of mine, I'd never considered this. They came to me 2 SAM and I'm not jiving. I told that friend I'm not running. But against this background, people began to articulate a recovery mode when your system crashes, like it has crashed right now. Your system, you can do the recovery, you can power on the recovery that gets your stuff back. So they said in an attempt to put on our recovery software, we needed to look at this and this and this, and as we began to put that together, that picture is beginning to look like, okay, you may also be suitable to run. And I can't acquire that kind of a thing. If those, okay, do I like it the way it is today? Are there people on that list of the people who want to run? Fantastic human being. I call him Rashego.
Yes.
Fantastic human being. But if the people will decide, and also I will expect that at this point in time, it calls for serious introspection. Whoever is going to lead Ekiti, by the grace of God in 2018, he must reflect the present scenario and be able to come to that terms with the fact that the history, the historical perspective that led us to where we are, that he is not culpable.
That he is not culpable.
Yeah.
That is it.
Don't try to decode it at the appropriate time. But what I'm saying is that a whole lot of people are good people on that list. And the ultimate decision is for the electorate in Ekiti. And first and foremost within the party, from our leader, Ashadu Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Chief Akin Edure, our leadership at the national and state and all of that. There's nobody who doesn't have his limitations and all of that, what's and all. But the truth of the matter is that we must put it down now and do a forensic search.
Yes.
And look at everybody for what they represent and who they are.
Let me run the names by you.
Right.
Segun Oni, Femi Bamishile, Dr. Adebayo Orire, yourself, Bimbo Daramola, Bisi Aloba, Yemi Adaramodu, Senator Gbenga Aluko, Senator Ayo Arise.
And that's not all. That's not exhaustive.
At all.
You know the guys who did the Edo election.
Yes. That's the APC guys.
Yes, but I guarantee you it is going to probably hit about 15 or 20.
Really?
It's most likely going to hit that target, but let's see how it goes.
I'm also very keen to know your opinion on Dr. Fayemi quickly conceding defeat in that election. I remember what he said: if indeed this is the will of the Ekiti people, I stand in deference to your will. If the result of the election is an expression of the voice of our people, we must all heed your voice. Was the party happy with him?
Anytime we talk about the election and every part of that election, I get emotional about what were you expecting him to do. If you follow the syntax of that speech, you will see a man who was coming from a position of shock. You see a man who was coming from a position of, I am still the governor, I am obligated to defend and protect these people and take them from harm's way.
From harm's way, because people thought if he had said anything else,
violence
could have erupted.
He would naturally have erupted. And so what he did was to stem the tide of violence to ensure that we didn't lose another innocent life.
Yeah.
Because most likely it won't be Dr. Fayemi that they will hack down. Most likely will hack down another innocent Ekiti son or daughter. And I don't think Dr. Fayemi felt that the victory or his victory, he should walk to victory riding on the blood of another Ekiti man or Ekiti son or daughter. So this must have been the picture at the back of his mind. And he said, if indeed, because he knew that that couldn't have been. And people may say, oh, no, he doesn't know what he's taking. Oh, we have seen it now. Yes, in terms of what they counted, Dr. Fauci won, in terms of what they counted. But, there's no way you will talk about the head of the dog that is very sweet, that you will not also say that this thing was cooked in this earthen pot.
Yes.
The taste of the meat of the food you cook in earthenware pot is different from the metallic fry pan or whatever it is. If anything had gone down, if 50 people had lost their lives now, would they blame the party? They would say Fayemi triggered them to violence, and then 50 people died in the pursuit of his mandate. So I think he reflected and he felt that there may be another day, and then that he also feels that his place in history should not be affected by what he did post the election.
Well, generally speaking now, because it appears that Governor Fayose, having emerged as the governor, is now an established leader of the People's Democratic Party, not only in Ekiti State, but nationally. What is the strategy of the APC to take Ekiti State back from the PDP?
There's no doubt about it. Governor Peter Fayose is a strong political leader. I admit that. He also has a strong personality. And then this is the best way he wants to, or he feels that he can interpret governance. And you can't blame him for that. If you want to eat rice and you use fork instead of spoon, you will live with the consequences. Or you use knife to begin to scoop in grains. Do you know how laborious it is to eat with chopsticks compared to spoon and fork? Or if you want to eat a amala and you go ahead to use fork because you are in the up class restaurant, when you know that you could do justice to it by just washing your hands and then cracking. So this is the thing. I believe that this is the way he feels, that this is his understanding of the way to reach the people. This is his understanding of the kind of government he wants to lead. History and posterity will always judge us. We can't run away from that. He said, recompense is sure. Èmi ń bọ̀ kánkán, èrè mi sì ń bẹ pẹ̀lú mi láti san fún olúkálùkù gẹ́gẹ́ bí iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ rẹ̀. Behold, I come assuredly, and my gains are with me, to pay unto everybody according to the works of his hands. Recompense is sure. Let us leave Dr. Fayose to the judgment of history. Let us leave Fayemi to the judgment of history. But a new chapter is going to be opened by the grace of God in 2018. And then we'll chart a different course for Ekiti.
So the green card, let's just round up with that. The Niger green card is up and running.
Oh, it's up and running.
People can visit the website and follow the prompt.
Yes. Well, I also would like to tell the guys who have the card to please go ahead and use the card. These merchants, these vendors, they are waiting on you. Don't spend 1 naira more when you can save it.
Yes.
It makes logic sense. This time that we're in calls for serious judicious application of resources.
Yes.
And this is one of the platforms that could help anybody, particularly in this vulnerable classification,
Yes.
to be able to deal with the socio-economic realities that, you know, they are fighting at you bare knuckle. So you better be padded. You better have something to cushion your fall. This is one of those platforms and one of those initiatives that also will complement the vision of President Buhari,
Yes.
particularly with regards to his social protection plan. And we hope that in quick turnaround time, parents will begin to call and begin to tell their wards and kids, wherever they may be. I mean, we have it elsewhere. We are taking the can now, and then we believe that by the time we turn around in 1 year,
Yes.
we would have sufficiently ignited this revolution, and it will make legendary impact, and then we'll be satisfied.
Thank you very much for coming back on 60 Minutes with me.
Thank you
Always
very much.
interesting to have you.
Thank you
And
very
thank you for watching. I'm Angela Ajitumobi.